Okay, so how you feeling, man?
A little nervous,
Me
that
too.
happens,
Me
but
too. Me too. It's all good though.
excited at the same time. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
let's see how this
So
goes.
so I think that so we agreed on bi-weekly, and if somewhere down the line that happens to turn into more than twice a month or once a
Which
week,
would be awesome.
yeah, I think so. I think so too. I think that'd be really cool. Then that's something that we'll do. But for now, this is going to be a twice a month thing, and not exactly sure on the date yet, but we'll go from there. And
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think it
Um,
will be too.
for those of you who don't know, my name is Mike. For those of you who don't know, my name is Mike,
I'm John.
and John and I have known each other for, let's see,
Yeah, we probably should have counted beforehand, right?
hmm,
20,
I'm 20.
2010,
I'm 27 now.
right? But it was what,
I
what
was
was it? 20,
probably like
2010?
15. And you were probably 14. So it's been about a good 12, 13 years that we have known each other. And
Yeah, it's been a while.
yeah. And I think that out of all of the friends that I have, I think that John and I are going to be very, very stoked for this little MMA slash whatever comes out of it, whatever podcast experience we got coming.
Yeah,
Um, we we're like brothers, but at the same time, like we hate each other's guts. So
brothers.
yeah, basically,
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be fun. Um,
yeah. I mean, on my end, I'm excited. I think it's cool, right? Because like the
mhm,
whole idea of a podcast is just it's a cool concept. Like
mhm.
you get to control the direction in which it
Yeah,
goes, and
yeah,
yeah, that's exciting. So just here, I can say
yeah,
whatever the fuck I want, and
yeah. Exactly. This is your
it's
this is your or I mean, it's our platform, and
yeah. So
we can say we can do whatever we want to
it's
do.
for sure exciting, and
Hmm.
it's just us having fun. So I look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. And also another cool thing is like we don't live in the same city, so as time has gone on, we've like lived separately. We basically like lived together for a little while.
Well, funny story. I tell everyone, right? Like
Hmm.
whenever I talk about you to like
Hmm.
friends or whatever, I tell them like, yeah, I pretty basically lived with
Yeah,
that
that's
guy
what I was
my
telling
like
you.
all my senior year. Like I was
Yeah,
like constantly over it. And it's
yeah,
funny,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because it's like I was still in high school, but
yeah,
I was always just hanging out, and
yeah. It was
you
fun.
know,
It was fun too. It was like a really, really
it
good,
really was.
fun year where we just basically like goofed off. I mean, but we
Really
still had
did.
responsibilities and took care of everything. Like it was cool.
Now we most definitely did not have responsibilities.
We really didn't.
Yeah,
But
but that was great.
since John and I talk about MMA a lot anyway to begin with, like with each other, we figured, like this would be a good platform for us to share with others and kind of, just something fun for our normal conversations. So,
Exactly. I think that's like the biggest thing, right? Is like it's
mhm.
something fun to do. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, we
definitely.
always have fun just talking about, well, this fight and this fight, what's
You
something to
got
look forward to, what's going on. Yeah.
definitely.
And so yeah.
Definitely. So like something that I'm really really looking forward to out of this podcast is like reconnecting with you like to begin with, because we aren't as tight as we used to be, just because we life happens.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that we're going to be doing this together, and then like I'm curious to see the feedback that we get, and kind of go from there and connecting with people while we're connecting with each other. You know what I mean? Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I get you.
Cool, cool.
Honestly, I feel the same thing, right? Because it's true, right?
Mhm,
Life happens.
mhm,
We don't talk as often as we probably would like, but
mhm.
I think this gives us that perfect
Yeah,
opportunity. And then
definitely.
on top of that, you mentioned connecting with people. I think that'd be really cool. And something I'm excited for is like, if you are interested in like having this conversation with us or having a conversation with us
Yeah,
about MMA or whatever it is, let us know. And I mean, I think
definitely.
that'd be really cool to,
Yeah. So
bring
so
other
like
people on and see what you have to say about, some of these topics. So yeah.
definitely. Like I have some guests in mind already, and I'm sure John does as well. And I think it'll be really cool to having for everybody on. And with that being said, let's get into some MMA. So
This
first,
one's what this one was a tough one.
first
I
off,
already know what it's
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be.
yeah, yeah. First off, so my first topic and the thing that I'm sure a lot of people think about when they think of MMA is they think of one person or a couple people who they love, their
A select
favorites,
few.
the select few, their favorite fighters. And when John and I were talking about this, like we had a very difficult time even coming up with five. So we had to narrow it down. We had to narrow it down to three. So
That was still
John,
very tough.
do you want me to go first, or would
How
you?
about we alternate? So
Okay,
I'm
okay,
going. Let's start with our third.
okay. Number three. All right, you want to do the honors?
Yeah, I'll start.
Okay,
So my third favorite fighter, just because this individual is just a straight badass, is Donald Cerrone. So
okay,
Cowboy, yeah,
okay.
Cowboy.
I respect
That
that.
guy, man, like it's so it's so hard to like be against that guy. Like
Yeah, no,
you root for him. Like
like even
everyone
when he
loves
was
him.
fighting Connor, bro, it was hard to go like against him. I
Exactly.
I
Everyone
understand.
respected him. Oh, that was such a tough fight to watch. Don't even.
Yeah, it's
I I
it's
wanted more
hard.
out of that,
It's hard
but
watching your
man, that
favorites.
guy is such a badass. And so one of the a big reason why like I like fell in love with this guy, everyone like
Hmm.
everyone follows these guys on social media, and well, I remember Cowboy was he had put on his story like him going skydiving with a group of friends or whatever, and I've always wanted to skydive. I thought that that's something that I'd like to do. So I actually messaged him, not thinking much of it, but I was like, oh, like I would love to go skydiving, like especially with you, like that'd be awesome. And he actually messaged me back.
No shit,
Yeah,
you've
and
never
and this
told me this before, bro.
yeah, yeah, and this
Wow.
was like a few years ago, and he was like, yeah, just let me know, and like we'll take you out or whatever. So I was like, damn, that's really cool. But I mean, obviously we're not in the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
areas or region, but
that's still really
but
cool,
yeah,
bro.
even then, like for someone like that to just like, oh, that guy just comes off as such a cool,
A
genuine
nice
person.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
agree.
like he just his love for the sport
Hmm.
is what like attracted me to that individual, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's just his fight style, like he doesn't care. He's gonna go out there, he's gonna have fun,
Hmm.
and I love that he tries to be friends with everyone. Like he's
Yeah,
just a
he's
cool
just
dude. But
even when he was up there, I think he was gonna fight Mike Perry.
yeah,
I think it was Mike Perry that he was gonna fight, and they were up there and they faced off, and like Cerrone was just up there smiling, and Mike Perry was being Mike Perry, and it's
well
like
that one there was a little bit of
there was a
bad blood
little,
between
yeah.
the camps
Oh
because
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
Cowboy used to be in the same camp and some shit went down there. So, but
But I
even
mean,
then, like he enjoyed the fight and
yeah, yeah, definitely. You could tell like he's
that
just
was
like
great
happy to
though.
be there. Yeah.
And
So
well, and isn't that's actually the I think that's the fight where he calls in for his
his,
son
his little
Danger.
baby, with
Yeah, that's where he like
with
carries
like the
him.
earmuffs, he like did the Lion King thing.
Yeah,
That's
this
cute,
is so
man.
so epic, so epic. So yeah,
Yeah,
Cowboy Cerrone is my number
definitely.
three.
That's a good pick. He's definitely respected by pretty much everybody. I don't think really anybody kind of dislikes him. So that's a good pick. So my number three, and I don't have a lot to say about this guy other than like you gotta respect his his reign. He's no longer active because Triple C, took his belt and they got rid of him. But DJ Mighty Mouse, Demetrius Johnson, bro.
Demetrius. All right.
He is so I. It's like they were advertising this weekend for the flyweights. Like these guys don't get a lot of respect, I feel, because they're smaller dudes, and that may not be as exciting for some MMA viewers who like to see like the heavyweights and all these people just
Yeah, they like
one
to see
punch
the
knockout.
knockouts, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I feel like Demetrius Johnson doing what he did for so long at 125, like he had 11 successful title defenses. Like I think what was that like over the course of like 8 years or something like that, or like 9 years, or I don't even remember. But watching him, I don't even remember who he fought, but with that suplex into the armbar and that like
Was
one.
that Ray Borg? I think
It might have been Ray Borg. The way that
maybe.
he
Dude,
transitioned to that into that armbar, like the dude was just creative. He was super smart. He was explosive. He's super athletic. Like he's just a great fighter. And also, like he seemed like a very very nice guy. Like he was like another one of those guys who,
well, see, and I feel like people like they don't realize like just how good he was because
yeah,
he has that defeat. You know what I mean with Henry,
yeah,
but it's like first off,
that
like
was.
that was the only reason Henry got that was the takedowns, right?
Mhm.
Um, and
Yeah,
even then, like people don't real that was their second fight. That first fight,
yeah,
Mighty Mouse destroyed
yeah. He
him.
destroyed him, bro. And I think that's something that people forget about because Henry Cejudo was still kind of like under the
So
radar.
imagine a third fight where Mighty Mouse knows exactly what to you
Yeah,
know
I
what to
I
expect.
I
Which I
think
mean, he still should have known to expect the wrestling, but
yeah.
I'm sure he would have trained differently
I
going into a
think
third.
Henry Cejudo retired at the just the right time. I think that he kind of.
I feel like he retired because of the money, because
Oh well,
he's
that too. But as far as
yeah, he's still nah.
competition,
I would still, but see, like I wanted to see Henry take on like the top bantamweight,
me
the
too.
ones that are shining right now. You know what I mean? The ones
Yeah,
that are up there.
I, I,
Those guys are exciting.
I would have liked to see Cody Garbrandt and Henry Cejudo. I think that that would have been.
That one would have been tough just because everyone knows that Garbrandt hasn't looked too good, but then again,
Yeah,
but Garbrandt's a amazing fighter to watch. Like
yeah,
he's so
definitely,
exciting because
definitely.
that dude is willing to stand and just
And he
throw.
seems like he's really strong too for being that small.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, like I said, I don't have much
but
to say
yeah.
about him, but mainly out of respect and being one of
Well,
the
yeah. I mean,
little guys, because um I'm only
anything that Mighty Mouse did, he looked
yeah
amazing.
yeah
I
yeah
mean,
yeah
he
yeah
looked amazing doing it. So
hell yeah
yeah,
hell yeah. So
you can
I
understand that one.
I think that our number two pick,
Might be the exact same.
I think it's the exact same pick because we talked about it, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
let
So
you
my
say
number
who it
two
is.
is the Bullet, Valentina Shevchenko. Yeah, that woman is terrifying.
Dude, I
That
that's the perfect way to describe her.
like okay, so I mean,
Yeah,
Ronda came in, you're like, damn, Ronda is terrifying.
yeah.
And then the whole Holly Ronda thing happens, and you're just like, well, shit.
You're like,
Right. And in the
maybe she's not
meantime,
that
Valentina,
terrifying.
like how do people let Valentina just go on like slip on
She's
by
under the
without
radar, bro.
exactly, dude. But like she's always just been there, and I feel like she's somewhat similar to Mighty Mouse in the sense that like she makes everyone look bad. Like
Yeah,
she's in a league of her own.
dude,
I mean,
it's
other than her and Amanda Nunes, right? But
yeah, but I mean, their fights are a little questionable. It's
yeah,
you
I
know,
know that second one, right?
there
That
was
split
no
decision.
definitive like she got knocked out, she beat her. Like,
No, yeah. A lot of people thought that Valentina
yeah,
won that second fight. So,
yeah,
but yeah, Valentina Shevchenko, and then what she did against was it Jessica I?
it was.
That oh, that
I would
was
never forget.
brutal.
So, like, I was watching it, and I could hear the shots, the way that the leg kicks were just landing every single time, and even her punches, bro. They sound so heavy. And then I think there was two kicks right before the final one. They were just super loud. And then that last one to the head when she just like she turned her into a plank.
Oh
Like,
man, just the way she just it was one of those knockouts. Like
yeah,
that's
bro.
what you oh
It
that was
was
just terrifying, but
it was
amazing,
yeah,
amazing,
no,
terrifying, but amazing.
definitely.
But
And it's
but
like
I
you were
think like
saying. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry, but like one thing that just blows my mind is like watching, you know, the women fighters and the way they throw. Like she's again, like she's just different. Like everything about her is faster. Like every
The
throw is
the
more
s- the
fluid.
snapping,
Yes, and
the
that's what I don't get. Like
she's so
I don't get that
precise, man.
she's just in a class of her own. Like
Yeah, bro.
that's the best way to describe it.
Definitely.
She's a beast.
And she's fighting tonight, which we are both very very excited about. And my wife is recently, I guess, kind of new to MMA since we've got married. You know, she's gotten more into it, but immediately, like, she was like, "That's my favorite fighter.
Yeah,
That's
she
that's
gravitated towards.
that's who I love right there." Yeah.
Well,
So
yeah, and then what? Homegirl speaks how many languages?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. She's
I know
good.
she speaks Spanish. I think she
She's
speaks
Russian,
Italian.
or
She's
no? Okay,
Russian.
yeah,
Well, no, she is Russian, and
yeah.
then
I think
she
she
does
said
it
she
all.
speaks four. She speaks Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, and
Yeah, I
Russian, I
think she
think.
does speak Portuguese.
It
But yeah,
just
she does it
shows
all.
that she's just a crazy, crazy individual. So, with that, I'm gonna go into
Our number
my
ones, right?
absolute favorite fighter, and a lot of people won't understand this because I guess he's lost quite a few big fights, and so
I think they will though. I think they will.
a lot of people kind of look down to this guy
Because again,
because of
this is favorite MMA fighters,
yeah,
right? This
yeah,
isn't the top, right? The
yeah.
top, like
These are
who's the
our
go?
favorite fighters.
Yeah, exactly.
So my absolute favorite fighter, and it's been this way for I don't know a long time, is DC Daniel Cormier. And when I first got into MMA, I'm not sure. I think he was still in Strike Force. And I remember watching like a pay-per-view or event, and I was thinking like, this big dude's good. Like I don't even know who he is, but this big dude's good. And then just the way he would pick people up and slam them, and the way he wrestled and how strong he was, and I was like, I like this dude. And he seemed like a really good guy. And as I got more and more into MMA, he had the feuds with Jones, and that to me, like how people would just side with Jones, and like, okay, so I'm just gonna say it, get it out of the way. John Jones is probably the best fighter to ever be in combat sports. I hate to admit it, but it is what it is. And when he was going through all that with when John Jones and DC were going through that, it was like I was hurt, man. I was like hurt for the guy. Like that and then like I guess it was like at that point where like I knew that like this man is like my favorite fighter. And I really, really, really like what he's doing with the UFC now that he's retired. He's doing all the commentating, he's doing the details, he's doing everything. So even though my favorite fighter has like retired and gone on to lose like a few big matches, I mean fights, um, it's still good to see him like in and around like the UFC. So it's pretty cool, man. He seems like a nice guy. He's like a family guy, and then of course their podcast, Elwani and DC. Like I tune in every week. Like it's fun. It's a good time.
So I'll be honest.
Hmm.
I never like cared for DC, right? He
Hmm.
was never one of my favorite fighters. Um, up until about when he started doing that show, the DC Hawani,
Hmm.
and just kind of like, I guess listening to him and just kind of getting a feel for the individual, like him as a person. That's when I started liking him more. The dude's I mean, he's a stand-up dude, right? And it is weird, right? The whole Jones and DC thing, like it's strange how DC's been the same this entire time. Nothing's changed about the guy.
No, he's
Like
been the same dude. The same.
and everyone has seen that John Jones is the one that he 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 changes every time. Every
Yeah,
fight he changes, right?
yeah.
Every
He's got this
the
weird
first one
like
he's like
sensitive
kind and
ego.
yeah, John Jones is strange, but yeah,
We'll
DC
we'll
has
get
been
into
the
that
same.
one day. We'll
Yeah,
we'll do like a most hated or like the fighters we dislike one day. We'll see.
yeah,
Maybe we'll see.
but we'll see. And DC, I never cared for him, but then when I started like actually, and I always respected like he's an amazing fighter, obviously, right?
It's a
It's
double chat, bro.
yeah, dude, that's it's a given, but yeah, now that I've especially
You're
with the
coming
I think the
around.
show has
I know
helped,
you're
yeah,
coming
and
around.
no, I really like him, like he's a cool dude,
He's
so
really funny, man.
I think
He's
that's a
super
good
funny.
it's a good
It's
number
always
one.
funny to see him like instigating with Ariel and all that. And like I could just said right now, like he was a double champ. Like the way that, and I still remember this. Whenever him and Rumble Johnson fought for the light heavyweight, the way that he was just able to completely dominate somebody who, I mean, he was on his way out, but I mean, Rumble Johnson, man, that dude was knocking out people
Hey,
ugly.
but he almost knocked out DC.
Yeah, he did.
That
But
one punch was a little.
He like staggered him and then he
Yeah.
recovered and then just ground and pound. That was it, done.
Yep.
And that was like that was a really good fight, really good moment for me because I got to see him win.
We
Which
I what they fought twice, right?
yeah, they fought twice, and the
Well, and
second
then
one
the
was right
second one
before.
was like everyone was like, "Why the hell is Rumble
Yeah,
trying to wrestle a wrestler?"
yeah, and Rumble's face. I mean, Rumble's pretty dark, but you could see just how much blood there was all over him because DC just like dominated him. But there we go. Favorite fighter of all time, DC for me.
All right.
I,
So
would you like to tell the people who your favorite fighter is?
yeah, and
He's
okay,
up
so
there
my
for me.
favorite fighter is Max Bless Holloway. So the Blessed Era, Bless Express. Yeah, I kind of don't want to say why just yet. Why
We'll get to that
I
later.
love him. Yeah, exactly. We'll get to that. But yeah, Max Holloway, he's an exciting fighter. He goes out there and he's similar to like Cowboy in a sense. Like he loves fighting. You can tell that he loves going out there and putting on a show. Um, and oh man, it's been tough to be a fan right now for Max just because of those last two fights. Which
Questionable.
I'll be honest, that first one I did think he lost. I
Yeah,
thought it was really close, but I did think he lost. That second one, yeah,
there's no way he
that
lost that fight,
yeah,
bro.
that one was heartbreaking, and it says a lot when half of the world thought, or more than half of the world
More
thought
than
that.
half. And the
Yeah,
judges. The judges. I mean, you remember seeing the. I mean, we saw it the other day. The little scorecard
yeah,
breakdown. Like,
yeah. The breakdown of the fight, yeah, of every round. Yeah, it's just that one's that one hurts. But hey, he's he's coming back. So,
it's gonna
and
be
it's
a
gonna be a
really
hell of a
really good
fight.
fight. Calvin
Yeah,
Cater's a stud. Max Holloway, man, it's gonna be really good. Really
but
really good.
yeah. So blessed. He's my boy.
So saying that, and something that we wanted to talk about with everybody else is uh, we love MMA. It's obvious, but there are a few moments or a few things that kind of stand out in our memories and things we think of, associated with these favorite fighters or just moments in general. We wanted to share with you guys a few of our favorite like MMA standout moments or just you know moments in MMA that we
Most memorable moments,
yeah
you know.
yeah. So I will start with one of them since I told you one. I actually have a few. So my dad was a huge MMA fan, and I say was because he passed away almost 2 years ago, and so doing the show for me is really exciting because I used to talk with him a lot about MMA, and I don't have that anymore. So this for me, and especially with John, like this for me is going to be something that I'm really really going to enjoy, and it's going to be good for me. I know that. But my dad used to drag me around to Buffalo Wild Wings all the time. I mean, like every pay per view, like every even fight nights, we were at Buffalo Wild Wings like for years. And this was in 2008. I know that because I looked it up. It was UFC 70, and this was when Mirko Krokop. I don't know if you remember Mirko Krokop, John. Was like coming up, and he was like on a tear in the UFC, and like he was finally fighting for the belt, I believe, or maybe he already had it. I'm not sure. I don't think he had the belt, but he was fighting with Gabriel Gonzaga, which just a random fight that I remember years ago, and I don't know if you remember it, but I was watching the fight and I was like, okay, like let's go, Crow Cop. Like I don't even know who the fuck this guy is. I don't know who the fuck. I don't know anything about him. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm going for this dude because everybody's hyping him. And the dude gets kicked in the head by Gabriel Gonzaga, and he's out. Gonzaga finishes him, and I'm just thinking like, this guy was supposed to
You and
like
everyone else. The
nobody
MMA
expected.
world was not
Yeah,
exactly.
like
I
Gabriel
remember that.
Gonzaga, like didn't. I mean, granted, these guys are UFC fighters, and they're trained fighters. Like, I didn't think he could get his foot that high. Like, he hit him like in the back of the head too. Like, that was a crazy, crazy, crazy like UFC like fight moment for me, and that like was a definitive moment for me being like, okay, I'm no longer getting dragged around by my dad to come to these UFC like events. Like I'm here to
I
watch it.
want, yeah, I'm
Yeah, like
going.
this I like this.
You'll
So
catch me
that
here next Saturday.
yeah, yeah. So that's like one of the moments that I think of when I think about like definitive, memorable like MMA moments for me. Yep.
All right. Well, so like I mentioned, Max Holloway, my favorite fighter, and the reason why I don't want to go too much in depth, but the reason why he's my favorite fighter is his fight against Ricardo Lamas. So Max Holloway
Okay.
versus Ricardo
Okay.
Lamas, and oh man, I remember watching the fight and Max was putting it on him, right?
Hmm.
Max was doing what he does. And just the most epic thing happens the third round with like 10 seconds left. They do the clap.
It's right here. Right
Exactly. And
here.
he points down to, he even like he looks at the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, just so epic. And even Ricardo's like, all right, like
Like,
okay.
let's
And
do it.
oh, that was just so epic to me. That
Yeah.
and that is the reason why like that was
That's what
why I
did it
fell in
for
love with the
you.
guy. Yeah, like he's
Yeah.
my favorite fighter for that reason. Like that's where it started. And ever
Yeah.
since then, like that's just his style. Like he's willing to
Yeah.
stand there and trade. And oh man,
He's
that was just
awesome,
so
man. He's awesome.
it was
And then
great.
also like he's just like DC, you know, like the way I feel about DC, like he's just like a nice, genuine guy. And you can definitely tell that Max Holloway is like that. I
Well,
mean, you
yeah,
with in and out of the ring, like with his son. I mean, the way he brings the son around and you know, the way that they interact with each other and
he actually got engaged.
yeah, yeah. Congrats,
Yeah.
Max. If you're
Mm,
watching this, maybe one day you will be.
yeah,
Congrats,
exactly.
buddy.
Hopefully you're watching this someday.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah,
Congrats.
congrats, Max.
But yeah, one thing about Max, right? We're talking about him being such a good person.
Hmm.
It's crazy because I don't know if you had heard about this, but after his second fight with Alexander, right? Everyone, it was super controversial, right? Everyone thought Max won. And then he actually defended some writers, some
Oh, I
yeah. So like a bunch
I
of
know
fans are
this.
giving people,
Yeah.
a bunch of fans are giving some writers, like some MMA writers, some crap about you know, things they had written about the fight and how they believed Alex won, and apparently it got pretty bad. And Max just he totally just shut it down. I think he like tweeted out and he's like, that's just not the thing to do. Like
I think I
like
remember
I'm
that. Yeah.
okay. He's like, I'm fine. Like it was a fight, it happened. And it's just like, dude, how can you not like someone like that?
Yeah.
Like he
You gotta
just
respect it, man.
you have to, man. So, but yeah, that when he just pointed down, and now I look forward to that in fight. Like if I see that in a
Yeah.
fight, it just hypes me up. I
Oh
love
yeah,
that.
dude.
I love
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh yeah. It makes me think of the Guida Sanchez fight, bro.
Yeah. Oh my
That
God, that
that
that's
that
one of
fight
those fights where it's just
it's in the Hall of Fame for a reason, bro. They
oh
were going at it. A lot of crazy fights like that. And it seems like a lot of good matchups are coming very, very soon too in the next few months, which I'm really looking forward to that Holloway fight. Um, so I have another MMA like moment, and I remember watching this live. Um, Again, I'm pretty sure I was either at a Buffalo Wild Wings or somewhere, you know, with my dad. Was watching, and he was like one of my favorites at the time, I guess, when I was getting into it. Benson Henderson, bro. He was
he's a beast.
he was a beast. And like I just remember like looking at the size of his freaking legs compared to everybody else and
Tree trunks.
hearing those kicks, bro, it was hardcore. And so like I really liked him, and this was in WEC, I believe. I guess Strike Force, right, or something. I think it was Strike Force. But I was rooting for him this night, and I saw one of the greatest things ever happen. I saw him get knocked out by some amazing ninja kick that Anthony Pettis pulled off. Like I don't even know how. I mean, nowadays you kind of see it more happen more often where fighters try it, but I think that was like the first time where like a fighter did some crazy ninja shit like that. Like for those of you who haven't seen it, like look it up. It's crazy. But Benson Henderson is like backing up towards the cage, and Pettis runs at him and does like this crazy ninja kick where he pushes off the side of the fence and with the same foot kicks Benson Henderson in the face, and he just drops and he gets finished. And that to me was like, holy shit. And so like I said, you know, when I think about these MMA moments where I'm like, what brought me to MMA? Like that was one of them, man. That shit was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't,
Well, no, yeah, it's crazy. Like it's crazy that's still a highlight to this day. So anytime
yeah,
Pettis fights, like they throw that in there because
yeah, definitely.
that's a memorable moment,
And
right?
he's
Like
still fighting, man, and he's still like at such a high level. So, and I think that was like, that was over 10 years ago. So it's crazy, man. It's
yeah, no,
crazy.
such a, that is an epic moment in MMA
Yeah,
because
bro.
again, no one's seen that, right? Like no,
No, no,
who the
no.
hell just jumps
What
on a
the fuck
cage
is
and
that?
pushes out? Yeah,
Yeah,
like what did this guy
definitely,
just
bro.
do, and why did it work? But yeah,
It's
that's
trippy, man.
definitely an
It is
epic moment.
trippy. Shit, man. I'm thinking about it, and I'm just like, oh man. I get real attached to, obviously we knew like our favorite teams, our favorite fighters. Like watching that kick, I was like, oh fuck. So crazy, crazy, crazy. Do you have any other
Yeah, so
moments
I
or?
have two more. So
Okay, yeah, yeah, go
uh,
for it.
next one I have is Rory McDonald versus Robbie Lawler 2.
Oh my god!
That has
Why
to
didn't I
be
throw
one
this
of
one in there?
the most epic fights ever. Like you had mentioned Sanchez and Guida, right?
Yeah,
That's up there with it. Like that has to be.
I
I mean,
I
I think this one's bloodier,
I think this one's might be
a
better
little more
because
intense.
yeah,
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 yeah, this one was, and then oh man, if you haven't seen it, I recommend you go watch that fight. It's gonna be pretty gory,
it's
but it
not for the
is an
squeamish. That's
amazing. Yeah,
that's
it is
that's for
not, but
sure.
it's an amazing fight. And just Rory when he just like wipes his face and he's just like ready to fight,
Yeah,
and then
man.
Lawler with the torn lip, and
So
when he
this man's lip was torn from like here. Was it this side up? Or no, it was from here. All right. Well,
yeah, but it was just torn up.
his
Like it
lip
just
was separated. Like you could pull it apart like at least an inch. Like it was
the
crazy. And
man did not care. He was still
yeah,
pressing
like
forward.
at the end of I think it was the third round. After they separated him and Robbie Lawler's just walking down
Yes, they're
McDonald.
both just like
Yeah, it's
staring
like
at each other.
holy
Oh
shit,
man,
man.
that fight is that has to go down in history as one of the best
Yeah,
fights.
man, that was
It
that
has
was
to
a great
because
fight.
that
Roy McDonald moving on to Bellator did really well for himself. But I think that was one of his last fights in UFC. Like that was like
yeah, man,
either
that
the last one or like one of the last. And Robbie Lawler's a beast, man.
scary dude.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
it's crazy when he's fighting. He just looks terrifying. But
He looks
outside
super
of the
nice,
cage, he's such a nice person.
dude.
With
For real.
um the oh I can't think of his name. He just had a hip replacement. The wrestler,
Oh,
curly hair.
um, Askren.
Yes, Ben Askren.
Yeah,
With Ben Askren, right? That was a controversial loss.
yeah.
Lawler, terrifying individual, gets up. You can tell he's a little pissed, and
He's
then
mad.
instantly is just like, "That's all right. Like it
Yeah,
happens. It happens, man. Don't worry about it." And it's like,
yeah,
damn, that dude's
yeah.
just
He was pretty pissed at Herb Dean at first, but it seemed like it was out of confusion at first, and Herb Dean was like, and
yeah,
then
like
like you
oh,
said, instantly Lawler was like, "Don't worry
it's
about it,
cool. It
man."
happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, that dude's something else.
that's another dude that like demands a lot of respect just by his actions.
Absolutely.
Um. So another one of my moments. Uh, I guess it was fairly recently. I think it was 2015, and this was just a moment that I think of, and I was like, "Holy shit, that was crazy." So Andre Arlovsky. Arlovsky's been a fighter for a very, very long time, been in and out of the UFC. And I believe in 2015, he fought Travis Brown. Uh, Travis Brown, for those of you who don't know, who is like a giant. He was like 6'8", 6'9", I think. Travis Brown's huge. Well, these dudes, bell starts ringing. They go out, they start throwing, man. And Travis Brown ends up rocking Andre Arlovsky first. And Arlovsky gets super stunned, almost gets finished. And then in the middle of all of that, while Arlovsky's recovering, stuns Travis Brown. And it's this crazy, like wild, like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. This like rock'em sock'em robots moment. And Andre Arlovsky ended up getting the win. But like, damn, dude, that was a crazy, crazy like couple minutes. And
Well, yeah, it's like an epic fight because midway through the fight, you're like, I don't know who the hell's gonna win. Like,
Yeah,
what's
yeah. You're
going on,
like, is
right?
this,
Like,
this dude's done? You're like, oh wait, no, never mind. He's not done.
exactly. Yeah, no, that I actually remember that fight too. That was a
Yeah,
really
that was
good
a good
fight.
one.
And
That was a really good one.
Arlovsky is a cool dude. I actually messaged him too, and he replied.
No shit.
Yeah,
You got
Arlovsky has
you,
replied to me
you got
too.
all
I
this
haven't
love,
I haven't
man.
messaged a lot of people.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Don't yeah,
Right.
just don't think that John
Yeah,
just
yeah.
goes
Don't think
around.
I message everyone.
How's
I
how's it
haven't.
how's it going, Dominic Cruz?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he actually messaged me back too.
That's
So
pretty dope, man.
I was
That's
like, oh
pretty
yeah,
dope.
that guy's
I,
cool.
I I like replied to one of Paul Felder's stories the other day, and I didn't get a reply, so
Yeah, I mean
I'm
Paul doesn't
jealous.
like you, so.
Yeah, I know.
But um, but yeah. So my last favorite MMA moment.
Okay, okay. Let's
And
hear
I
it.
think I'm pretty sure this is gonna be like a lot of people's, one of their
Hmm.
favorites. And the big reason why it's my favorite is this is probably one of the most memorable MMA moments. So I wasn't all that into UFC, and my older brother was, and so when I was in high school and he was off in college, one time he invited me over and he's like, yeah, let's go hang out. And we actually went to a restaurant. I think it was a Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm not too sure.
I can't
I don't
believe your
remember the
brother was nice to you. Let me
restaurant.
just throw that in there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But so he took me with him, and this was the fight that I saw. So it was Anderson Silva versus Vitor Belfort, and it was that front kick that night that I
The
saw.
front kick,
And man, that
the
would I
infamous
remember just being
front
like,
kick.
all right, like cool, right? Fighting, like I mean, I feel like most people gravitate towards fighting, right? Like
Hmm.
everyone,
Yeah,
you show someone a fight, they're gonna watch,
like
right?
oh, it's badass.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh shit, like that just happened, right? Well, that's exactly how that night ended for me.
Man,
That shit just happened. That
that was
front kick was insane,
it
and
was,
just the way Vitor fell. Oh my
and
gosh,
the way that Anderson was like, "Yep, I just did that." Like it was nothing for him, bro.
dude,
Just
that
the
opened up
way.
my eyes to the world of MMA. Like that was the moment that I fell in love with the sport. And I
Yeah.
remember it's crazy. Ever since then, like so after that, I remember going back home, right? And I had a high school friend. His name was Justin, and he was into MMA also. So then I remember being like, damn, well we need to go watch, these pay-per-views. Like where can we go? We went to our local dog track to go watch
Oh,
these because
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so
So
our local dog track
you
would
would
just.
I explain the dog track to our viewers? I mean, because I've been too. That was also another place I went with my dad a lot.
Well, yeah, so I mean, it's a local dog track where, dogs race and people bet. So yeah, people are betting on dogs, right? And there's a live portion which is going to have the dogs, and then they also they have a bunch, like
There's a
everywhere. There's
ton,
TVs everywhere.
a
There are
ton.
TVs everywhere so that you can go make bets. So you're watching live other dogs or race horses. You're watching other races, right? So
Mhm.
that you can make these bets on. Well, for some reason, and I love that they did it,
It was
they
genius.
would they would show UFC events, and they
Yeah,
would only charge, I believe it was like
$5.
$3. I think it
Yeah,
was it was something like that, right?
yeah. You paid
A high
admission
school
fee.
kid, $3. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
it's
That is
awesome.
perfect, right?
Yeah, awesome.
It's just the right amount. So yeah, every weekend I remember we would head out to the dog tracks, and you see, these older dudes just smoking, drinking, betting on dogs, and then they'd look
With
around, and then there
two
was also the
liquor.
UFC, and yeah, so ever since then, that Anderson Silva, Vitor Belfort changed my life in terms of MMA. I fell in love with the sport. I would even go to dog tracks to go watch
Go to
this
the
damn
dog
sport.
track.
Yeah,
I forgot about the
like
dog
a
track.
16-year-old watching UFC fights at a dog track.
Hey, mom, can you take me to the dog track so I can go watch some fights?
And then now I'm
Oh
thinking about
man.
it, that would have been cool if, like, I mean, I guess because the state that we're in, they don't allow it, but that would have been cool. People could have made bets there on
Yeah.
fights, right? Like
Yeah.
that would
Imagine.
have been.
I'm,
Why
that'd
not?
have
You're
been
making
cool.
you're making bets on dogs. Might as well.
Speaking
But
of, we're not sponsored or anything. Maybe one day we will be. DraftKings. Are you into DraftKings?
no, I've never even messed with it, so I have no idea what.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I've,
You lose
I've,
your money too?
I've dumped like $50 in so far, which we only like I only do like five or $2, $3 bets. The payout's like a couple of $1,000, but I'm like 0 for 5 or 0 for
Oh,
4, like on
I have the
winning.
worst luck.
Dude, it's tough.
All these fighters that I'm rooting for
Don't
doesn't
do it.
happen.
Don't do it.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
just don't do
happen.
it. Anyway, I'm telling you not to do it, but I already like have a lineup for tonight. And my wife, which speaking of, we need to like set her lineup. She wanted to try it, so we need to get her fight her like lineup set. But don't do it because
Yeah, no,
you'll be
I,
hooked.
I don't think I want to.
Yeah. So
I don't want to get addicted to that too. Last thing fights we're looking forward to.
yeah. So fights that we were looking forward to. I'm actually gonna go
I
ahead
mean,
and pull this up on my other screen because there is a lot coming up. So
well, yeah, I mean that's exactly what I'm doing. So I
UFC
think
256. That's the next one, right?
255.
250.
So tonight is 255,
Oh,
and I think
250.
that's for everyone. I mean, hopefully you're excited for this card. I think it's probably going to be one of those cards that goes under the radar
It's a
just because
sleeper, bro. It's a
it
sleeper.
is it is just because there's you know the names they're not that big, but and it sucks, right? Because this card is a
Yeah.
damn good card.
The flyweights
I
don't
mean,
get the respect, man.
yeah, they don't. And then I mean, I'm hoping we have some Valentina fans out there,
Oh yeah,
and and
definitely,
they're willing to
definitely, bro.
pay for that
So,
fight because that's probably the fight I'm excited for the most.
oh, dude, me too, bro. I
I'm
mean,
not saying that it's going to be a close fight. I don't think it will be, but I'm
have you seen
excited.
the betting odds for this fight?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so typically you see a fight, and the betting odds are like plus 200, minus 250, or somewhere like this. Valentina Shevchenko is fighting Jennifer Maya tonight. The betting odds: Valentina is a minus 1600.
Oh,
Minus 1600. So the way that works is you have to bet $1,600 on Shevchenko just to win $100 because there's no game. Like
everyone's going for it. Everyone
she's
thinks she's
gonna
going to
win.
win.
Yeah, exactly. And then Jennifer Maya's a 900. You put $100 on Jennifer Maya, you win $900.
Should
Um,
she win? Exactly.
and so my wife and I were talking about this, but like if the only way that Shevchenko is going to lose this fight is if she gets submitted. That's the only way. Like Jennifer Miles, a black belt in jiu-jitsu, like she's a better grappler than she is striker. But I don't think that with the range that Shevchenko always it's like she's a conductor or like an orchestrator. Like she conducts the whole thing. Everything is so precise and she just directs everything. Like
Yeah, but I mean, ultimately, she dictates the
exactly.
fight. Like
Exactly.
she whatever she does, whatever she wants to do, that's what's going
Yeah.
to happen in that fight.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
it's insane. And then you talk about well, Jennifer Maya is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. That's what I love about the UFC or like
Yeah.
MMA, right?
Yeah,
We're all
definitely.
talking about UFC, but I mean, let's be honest, UFC is
Mhm.
the biggest thing right now.
Yeah.
But in terms of MMA, like that's what I love. Is like you can get someone, a black belt in Brazil jiu-jitsu, right?
Mhm.
And you can find someone who's a blue belt and they somehow manage to win, right? And I just love that. Like
Yeah.
you don't know who's going to win. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have a pretty good sense, like right now, right? We
Mhm.
have a pretty good sense. We think Valentina is going to win, but
Yeah.
we really don't know, right? At the end of the
Yeah.
night, we don't know.
Yeah.
Jennifer Maya could pull it off and
You
just
could be winning that $900 tonight. I mean, you never know. Like
exactly. But
it's
that's MMA for you. That's why it's so exciting.
yeah, it's like the Glover Teixeira and Santos fight. Both guys were black belts. Both guys, I mean, they're both from Brazil. And then you just see old man Glover just take it to Santos. I mean, got rocked,
That
don't get me wrong. But the level and the grappling, it's like DC or Corey Anderson, whoever you want to say, like there's levels to this game. Like it's unreal, bro. And just like Shevchenko, she's up here, man. She's up here. It's
no,
scary.
she's somewhere else, man.
Yeah, Santos, bro. It's
They're
scary.
over here. She's somewhere else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. And
she is
then
scary.
so the main so that's the co-main for tonight, but the main card tonight, Davison Figueroa versus Alex Perez. I don't know, man. Davison Figueroa is a beast, but Alex Perez has a lot of experience, and just because he's new to the UFC doesn't mean he's new to the fight game. I mean, what is he
Well,
like 24 and yeah, he's 24 and 5. He's actually got more professional fights than Davison Figueroa. I
I
mean,
mean, did you see Davison during the weight cut though? He
he,
looked like
I
it
thought he
looked
was
like it
gonna
was
die,
tough.
bro. I thought he was gonna die like on
Like
stage.
And honestly, Alex looked kind of fine. Like
Yeah,
so,
he looked like he was
so
chilling.
let's see if
Also,
that has anything to do with it.
oh yeah. So on the undercard, we have Shevchenko's sister and Ariane Lipsky. I think that's gonna be a really good fight. I think that there's gonna be a lot of
I'm excited for the main of the preliminary card.
me too. I think that
That is
that one
that's kind of like number one contender.
that should have been on the main card instead of the Shogun fight, which, no
Yeah, but I
disrespect to
think
Shogun Hua, but
I think their thing is they're trying to sell the prelim, right? So they're
yeah.
trying to get people
Oh yeah, that
to
makes sense.
yeah, so that's usually I think that's why they do that, right?
Mhm.
So sometimes you'll
That
see a
makes
bigger
sense.
name at the end of a preliminary card because they want to sell the the card, right? The main card.
Hmm.
So they're
Hmm.
hoping that hey, if you just saw this badass fight right now,
Like, let's just wait
exactly.
till you get some more. And so, for those of you who don't know, Brandon Royval, who is a stud and just kind of broke out over like the last, I guess the last year, right?
Yeah.
Get that big fight with Kai Kara France. He is fighting Brandon Moreno, who is the number one contender. Brandon Royval, I think he's 4 or 5. Um, I think that's gonna be fireworks, man.
Well, me and my brother were just talking about this fight because again, we were both excited.
Yeah,
And Brandon Royval, his last fight, um, that dude, he goes out there swinging like
he's like
he's an
Max
exciting
Holloway
fighter.
and those other guys
Yeah,
we were talking about.
he's willing to take a punch, and in his last fight, he took a punch,
Yeah.
and it was funny, right? Because he got rocked, and he ended up winning that fight. And
Mhm.
after that fight, he's like, "Well, shit, I got rocked. Like, I need to not do
he's
that." But
he's like, I didn't do good. He's like, I almost got
yeah.
knocked out. Yeah, that was a crazy fight, man. Brandon Royval and Kai Kara France.
Well, and then
Um,
also Joaquin Buckley, he's the one that had that
yeah,
spinning back kick recently. He's on that card, so
yeah,
that should be exciting
that'll be
too.
good too, man. And a lot of exciting fights tonight, and then other fights that are coming up, man. For sure, the Max Holloway and Calvin Cater fight. I'm
Yeah.
more excited for that fight than I am seeing Usman defend his belt against Gilbert Burns. Like that's gonna be like a good fight. Don't get me wrong, but like I think that Calvin Cater and that whole division, man, is stacked.
Look, all I know is these last two title fights, Max Holloway versus Alexander. Guess who was the main? It was Usman. Usman's bad
Oh,
luck. I can't have him fighting with Max anymore.
I didn't even think about that. You're right. It
So
was it was
I don't give
Masvidal
a
and
fuck
Covington,
about
right?
Usman being on a different card. I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
As long as he's on the same card as Max Holloway,
yeah.
that's all that matters to
I didn't
me.
I didn't even think about that. Damn, you're right. It was Covington, which I loved
Yeah.
watching
Oh, that
Covington get to.
that fight was.
That was awesome. That was
Hey,
awesome.
Covington's a great heel though.
Yeah, yeah.
He knows what he's doing,
He
and
plays that part
he,
so well, bro. Like
yeah,
that. Can't
you love
stand
to
that
hate him.
dude. But also, like in the same sense, like you gotta. That dude's a good fighter, man. That dude's striking
Absolutely.
is crazy.
His output.
His
Oh
output
my
too.
god.
How he can
His
maintain
cardio
for
is just
5 straight rounds, easy.
and everyone says wrestling's like one of the toughest things to do. Like
Yeah,
it's the most tiring, and that's what that dude
yeah.
does,
Like
and yet he's still fifth round, he's still going
I,
like it's nothing.
I was sad to see Woodley get beat so bad by Covington, but at the end of that fight, it looked like Covington could have gone another 5 rounds, easy. It's crazy, crazy. Speaking of more fights to come, how excited are you for Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor on a 1 to 10?
On a 1 to 10, that's like a solid 10.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that fight is insane. Like that's such an
yeah.
insane matchup, especially knowing the way the first one went,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think Connor did
Dustin's
well at 145, right?
yeah.
Dustin, he did well there too, but he looks completely different
He looks
at
way
155.
different. He looked like a
At
little kid at
155.
145.
And see, with Connor, it's like Connor's just good. Like he's looked good at every weight division, right?
Yeah,
So I'm excited for that fight just because again, like it's such a great rematch.
dude, it's gonna be
Dustin's a
great.
different fighter.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's not to say that Connor's the same fighter, right?
Mhm.
Connor's obviously,
They both
you know,
improved.
got yeah, they both improved exactly. But yeah, man, that fight,
It's
those
gonna be
guys,
awesome,
their
man.
style, that style, man,
It,
perfect matchup.
I don't see very much grappling going on in that match. I think that
Oh
both
hell
of these
no.
dudes, because Dustin Poirier is such a great boxer, and then Conor McGregor. I mean, his striking is Conor, man. I was showing the Eddie Alvarez fight to my wife the other day, and I was like, just look at the way that Connor is so precise, and like, like with Valentina, the way her punches just snap, and they're exactly where they need to be. Like Connor's left hand,
Yeah, dude, Connor dictated that fight. Like
yeah,
and that sucks, right? Because Eddie Alvarez is a good fighter. Like
yeah,
he's a
dude,
good
he was the
striker
champ.
too.
He was the
He's a,
champ. Like, let's
he's a
not
good
forget.
striker, and then on top of that, he has a wrestling background. Like,
Yeah,
and that's what happened. Damn.
and like after the first knockdown, and then a couple punches after that, you could tell like Alvarez was like, I'm not done. It was like it was like I'm gonna bring it up. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but Hamzat, bro. Hamzat's knockout of what was his name? Gerald
Gerald, yeah, Gerald,
Mirshat, something
something like
like that.
that. Yeah, strange last
Dude,
name.
I blinked and it was over, bro. Like,
Yeah, no one
I
saw that coming. I don't care
yeah, bro.
who you are. You did not see that coming.
No, bro. What do you think of Hamzat? Anyway, let's get into that.
The dude's a beast.
You think he's overhyped, or do you think that he?
Hell no, he's not overhyped. With what he's done, dude. Like these other guys that he's beaten, they're in the
Yeah,
UFC. Like they're in the
yeah.
UFC for a reason. Doesn't matter what weight division. They're in the UFC, and
And
he's mauled them.
with that being said, Leon Edwards. I mean, he's another one of the guys that kind of flies under the radar, but I mean, he's got what, 8, 9 fights in a row that he's won.
Yeah, 8, I think. I don't. But yeah,
Do you foresee Hamza getting through Leon Edwards?
it's hard, man. That's a really tough one. But I think he will. I think he'll
I
pull it off.
I want him to, bro, because I want to see
Exactly.
Hamza in the top 10. I want it, maybe even the top 5 after this one. I want to see what he can do to these
Oh
other
no,
guys.
after that one, he's definitely top 5.
Yeah, yeah.
Whoa, isn't Edwards what 3?
I think Edwards is
3 or 4 maybe.
he's
I
I
know he
think
was
he's
up there, and then
3.
they
They took him out for
yeah,
24
they took him
hours.
out to they kind of threatened him like, all right, you're not
Yeah.
gonna fight. Well then,
Let's see. What's his ranking? I can't seem to find it, but he's in the top 5 for sure. And he's fighting Hamzat on
yeah,
December 19th.
that's a
Ooh,
scary matchup for him.
yeah,
And I was kind of confused with that because I know Wonder Boy called him out,
yeah.
and
Which,
he was kind of like, no,
uh,
you have nothing. There's nothing for me to gain.
yeah,
But then I guess fighting an unranked fighter is,
yeah. I mean,
yeah, I mean it's tough. But I guess I mean Hamza obviously is a big name. Like
yeah.
people
I
know the name because of what he's done.
I also kind of think that UFC kind of gave him an ultimatum.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but
But yeah, so Leon Edwards is 3. So if he pulls it off,
Hamza's
he
top 5
I mean,
for
yeah,
sure.
that might be number one contender
I
because
I
well
think it I think it might
because
be, bro.
2 Gilbert Burns, which they're already fighting, and then
Yeah,
1 is Covington, which they've already fought.
they've already fought. Yeah,
So should Burns win, then that's gonna change a
Yeah,
bunch. That's gonna change it up for sure.
yeah. So I know that Hamza has fought 185 and 170.
Bro, the dude
Um,
doesn't care.
do you do you think that he's gonna smash them all in 170 and 180, or do you feel he's gonna?
He's gonna smash them all, brother.
Dude, I think so, bro. I really think so. I'm
That
a
that dude.
I'm a Hamzat stan, bro.
I
I'm
mean,
I'm
they're
I'm, I'm on the
with
hype
what they're
train.
doing with him, they're selling him perfect.
Definitely, bro.
And
Definitely.
and it doesn't help that the dude just dominates the way he does.
Hell yeah. So, are there any other fights that you're
One
looking forward
more
to?
that not not that I'm looking forward to. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it happens, it happens, and I'll look forward to it. Um, Adesanya and Jan Blachowicz. Yeah, if that happens,
Is he, bro? Is he's a
that's a
beast?
strange matchup, but that's an exciting one.
Yeah.
Um, it'd be interesting to see. is
So
he at 205?
so let's say Izzy moves up and beats Jan. What's there for him at 205 next?
I mean, it sucks, right? Because you want to say Jones, but it
Oh
seems like
man.
Jones is set on heavyweight.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, Jones just recently posted something about him being like 240 right now, and he's looking big.
Dude, he
So it's
looks
like
freaking huge.
either Adesanya moves up to go take on Jones at heavyweight, or
Yeah.
he just, I don't know.
I don't see Jones coming back down after this time, after he vacated, and he's been, as much as I hate it, like I can't not watch what this guy's posting. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's John
I'd be the
Jones,
exact
for
same
God's
way.
sake, like good or bad, like it's fucking John Jones. And so like seeing that he's been working out and seeing that he's been doing, I mean, that's all he's been doing lately. Like I think that he definitely has too much for Stipe. As
Yeah,
good as Stipe
it's
is,
and then it's scary knowing that Jones has also defeated DC. So
yeah,
it's like,
definitely.
hey, I have that in my back
Yeah, and
pocket,
then
you know?
also, I don't know if you remember, but I think DC weighed in like at 240, 241, or during their last fight with Stipe, and Stipe like weighed in at 236 or
Yeah, he looked lean.
231, and knowing that Jones is already at 240, which he's gonna go through a fight camp, which obviously he's gonna cut some weight. Like I think that Jones is gonna look real good. I hate
One,
to
and
say it.
I think a big thing is the speed difference. Because even
Oh yeah,
DC,
DC's got some fast fucking hands, man.
I didn't understand. I didn't understand the game plan for DC and Stipe. I'll be honest, I was confused. I think
You're talking
DC.
about the second fight.
Well, I mean, even the third, like DC in the third fight, DC went for what, one takedown and gave up
Sorry, I
going
meant
for
the third.
takedowns.
The third.
Well, yeah,
Second.
because the second one too, like he didn't really go for takedowns, and it was both fights, right? Like,
Mhm.
but I think it took the second one to happen for him to understand, like, okay, this third one, I need to go for the takedowns. And it's just it's something that he
Need
didn't
to.
do. He did it once, and then that was it. I think had he stuck to that game plan, he would have mauled
I think so.
Stipe.
I don't think he
Not
like
mauled, right? But I think he would have
he would have been able to control
definitely.
it a lot more.
Yeah, it would have
I
been a
didn't
different fight.
foresee Stipe just clinching up the whole time like that at all, man. That
Yeah, I
was
mean, deep. So Stipe, he stuck to the game plan. Like he was smart
yeah.
about it.
It pained me to watch that fight, man.
I
That was
bet.
that was rough for me, bro.
Well, see,
Real rough.
and so around that time, that's when DC was already doing the Hawani fight. I had already started liking him. So yeah, that one hurt.
Yeah.
That one hurt me too because I was just like, oh man, it's his last
Poor
fight.
guy.
Oh
But
man,
I
yeah,
mean, he took it like a champ, man. I mean,
yeah, he
it
did.
sucks, and then of course we know with the eye poke, his freaking cornea was detached. Like
Yeah.
it
But
is what.
I love like how he kind of put that to rest, that eye poke, because you don't want that to be,
Yeah, no, as
something
an
that
excuse or like
exactly.
something that sits there. It's like whatever, man. He said is what it is.
Yeah.
But
But
so yeah,
but yeah, other than that, I mean, I think biggest thing for me is UFC is just doing it right, man. With this whole pandemic, everyone was scared and they led the way, and honestly, like that's the reason we have sports right now is because of the UFC. I truly
absolutely.
believe that.
They kind of like
They
pioneered it all. Like,
absolutely, and everyone, honestly, everyone talks shit, but they did it the right way,
mhm.
and you got to keep in mind that everyone is wanting to get paid, right?
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not just the
absolutely.
fighters, but he gave jobs to the production team too. Like
Yeah.
it. I think they're
Hey,
doing a
man.
great thing. I'm
I
glad
agree.
they're in business right now. So thanks to the UFC. I'm excited for every fucking Saturday to watch
Dude,
a
it's
fight.
been and
It's been
it
amazing.
like what people might not understand that are just tuning in and like getting familiar with MMA is like it hasn't always been like this. Like there used to be like a main event, maybe like I don't know. I guess over the last 6 7 years, it's gotten more and more. But like at a time, like there was only like 3 4 paper like big pay-per-views a year, and like man, UFC is pushing out content every week, man, with Contender Series, and then Like
And,
they're gonna be
and we're not
bringing,
exaggerating when we say every week.
yeah,
Literally
like
every damn week there's a UFC event and it's amazing.
sometimes on Wednesdays, sometimes on Saturdays, sometimes on I think there was like
Oh,
a
that's another
Thursday.
thing. On Tuesday, the Contender Series,
Yeah,
more MMA.
yeah.
It's man, they're
And then Ultimate Fighter's coming back in the spring. Like
nothing is slowing them down right now, and it's
they're making a killing, and here we are making a podcast. Like it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, um, really looking forward to this time, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I think so too. I'm excited.
So once again, I'm Mike,
Nam John.
and I mean we didn't even say it, but this is the one and only Smash Bros podcast.
Smash, brother.
Not smash, smish.
Smash.
Like Habib, like Hamzat, they're gonna smash them all.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Habib, right?
No,
That
I
would have
mean
been great.
we'll save it. We'll save it. I'm gonna stop recording.
All right.